Hello, beautiful community. How wonderful to come in and share with you exactly about that, about the power of community, about the importance of community. We are heading now into the new moon in Cancer. We have both the moon and the sun in the sign of Cancer, and Cancerians, I know because I am one. Cancerians are this beautiful, mothering, nurturing energy that desire to create connection. They desire to create a home, a sense of belonging, a sense of feeling, a sense of community and connection with other like minded individuals who have individuated into their own sovereignty, into their own power. And that is exactly the mission that I have been placed on this earth to do. My mission is really here to awaken you into the divine feminine, to awaken you into your divine masculine, to integrate those two beautiful polarized energies to come into sacred union for this incredible, beautiful, clear channel that you can create within you when you are both two parts of a whole. And to come into this kind of union, we need to connect with others who are on this path. And, you know, for centuries, I talk about this in my women's circles because the women's circles are a beautiful way to connect in with exactly this kind of community of like-minded individuals who are learning to individuate, who are on their path to feminine awakening in order to individuate and step into their power and their sovereignty. And I talk about in the women's circles about how our community has really been masculinized in the sense that we lost a lot of our feminine ways of operating in community when the Roman Empire came in with the battles that came in, with the split and the division that came in. We found ourselves living in a more masculine oriented society. They brought in the Gregorian calendar, they brought in the sun calendar, they got rid of the moon calendar, and we lost that sense of cyclical way of living as feminine beings. And now we are coming back into that space of feminine power. We are coming back into connecting with our cycles, connecting with our community, connecting both internally and then externally. And as we have been divided more and more, and we've grown up in these very individual houses, we've moved away from tribal living, we've moved away from communes, we've moved away from community, we found that it's become harder and harder to really understand who we truly are. And I want to map out for you different types of stages that happen as you are trying to find community at different points in your awakening journey. And so when you are younger and you're trying to find your place in the world, you tend to place your sense of belonging on an external source. Like, do my parents validate me? Do my teachers validate me? Do my peers validate me? Okay, and as you start to do that, you outsource your power. So you lose your sovereignty, you lose your organic sense of being because you are outsourcing your power to have a sense of belonging or fitting in with a community that you think you should be a part of at that time, right? We've all done it. I remember many, many experiences of trying to fit in essentially to communities that I didn't really feel a part of or feel even good in, just to be seen, just to be heard, just to be validated. But when we do that and we don't question really whether it suits us or whether it fits us or whether it feels in resonance with us, we stay in a childlike space. Okay, we don't get curious and we don't question because we're too scared to go against the grain. We're too scared to be judged. We're too scared of the fear. And when we start to question, which is what's happening now to many of us on this planet, many of us are questioning the narrative. Do the doctors really know the answers? Do we really believe in the scientists? And if we don't, are we allowed to question it? Because if we do question it, are we being shut down? And is that okay? Because surely we should be able to question and have healthy debate over things. Do we really believe that the government has our best interests at heart? Do we really believe that society has our best interests at heart? Now, I know these are quite dark topics and they don't feel good and they don't feel comfortable. But as you start to awaken and you start to ask these sorts of questions, you are becoming the rebel or the teenager, right? Because you are now starting to individuate. You are now starting to open up your curiosity and your questioning to actually Ask yourself, is this right for me? Does this resonate with me? Well, does this sit with me? Is this my truth? Do I really believe what they're believing? Or have I just taken on the expectations of what society expects of me? Have I just taken on what the government says I should do? Am I just being compliant because it's easier rather than questioning the narrative? And so as you start to question and use your discernment, your judgment, and your curiosity and your inner knowing, you are heading into that kind of individuated society. So we have this unconscious society, unconscious community, right? Where you're just saying yes because you want to be validated in the child phase. And then you move into kind of a semi-conscious society where you're, or community where you're starting to question and individuate. And as you start to question and individuate, you're going to trigger people. You're going to be met with resistance. You're going to have people that shut you down because it triggers them, because they can't face those shadows, because they don't want to go that deep, because they don't want to question the narrative, because they don't want to expand and individuate and claim their sovereignty. It's easier and more comfortable for them to stay in their individuated, in their childhood mode, in their okay, I accept mode. But I really encourage you to keep questioning, to keep individuating, and to keep opening up into that semi-conscious community. And then over time, as you expand and you ask these questions, you're going to start coming into conscious community, a community where the people inside that community have individuated, have decoded themselves, have deconditioned themselves, have unlearned, have questioned, have relearned, and have come into this beautiful space of sovereignty and power where they know who they are, what they want, what they desire, and what their values are. And when you start to head into that conscious community and you create with them in conscious space, you will start to attract more and more and more of those types of people into your life, and other people will start to fall away. People who are no longer in resonance with you will fall away. People who are no longer connected to the frequency that you now hold will no longer understand you, and they will fall away. And this feels uncomfortable. This feels painful. It doesn't feel good, especially when it's loved ones, especially when it's family, especially when it's close friends. But if you've landed here on my page, if you've landed in my community, in my Facebook group, the Divine School of Feminine Awakening, if you've landed in my women's circles, you're here for a reason, because you're on the path to feminine awakening, because you've understood that actually there gets to be another way of living, that we don't have to fall into the expectations of society, that we don't have to comply if it doesn't feel right for us, that we don't have to say yes to everything that comes into our path just to please others, that you are claiming your sovereignty and your power. And so I really hope that this has landed and resonated with you in your heart today. We have a couple of really exciting events coming up this week to create community. This Thursday, 8th of July, we have a beautiful group breathwork session that I'm holding space for. It's for the new moon in Cancer. We are there to create community, to activate and decode some of the trauma that we are storing in our cellular system through conscious connected breathing, and releasing that to come into more sovereignty so that we can open up networks to create with more like-minded community. And then on Sunday, I'm holding the Women's Circle for the new moon in Cancer. Again, a beautiful space and time to come and connect with other women in sacred circle, to be in commune, to have that beautiful feminine energy surrounding us so that we can really feel safe to be seen and heard and witnessed. So I hope to see you at either one of those events. You can sign up in the links in this email, and of course in my Facebook group, the Divine School of Feminine Awakening, and on my Instagram page at Shinny Bella Coaching. I look forward to seeing you there. Moon blessings, much love.